Namo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayas Sada Bhautame Bhorama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanana Onsamiti Asamayasha Sutrani Ayun Rulrak Eong Ayauch Hayavarat Lan Nyamanga Nanam Javain Garadash Jabagadadash Kapha Chata Tharchata Tav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Mahasha Sutrani. Now last time we were looking at this shloka from Raghuvamshaha. The one we were looking at was the it was this one. Vamanashrama padam tataha param pavanam shrutam rishe rupe yavan unmanaha prathama janma cheshtitanya smarannapi babhuva raghavaha. It's number 22 here. And rather, while we were looking at this form, pavanam we derived last time, if you remember. So pavanam we did the dhatu pu, puni pavane, is to become pure. So we use the causative form of that, make it pavi, and then we use the ana. Now this form comes in Gita. Actually, after the class I had realized I should have given the Gita example. In the beginning of the 18th Adhyaya, this form comes in the Gita. Yajñodanantapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Is yajñodanantapah karma natyajyam kajyam eva tata. Yajñodanantapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Here it is. Here it is. The word pavanani comes in Gita in chapter 18, number 5. The same word, because it's an adjective, here pavanani is qualifying karmani. Karmani. So that is the same. So we will put in Gita. So let's. From last time I forgot to give the Gita reference for pavanani. So 18.5 is the form pavanani. Pavanani. The reason we look up these examples from Gita and other texts is that once you get, this is also a trick by the way, if there is a word that you cannot understand properly, you can look for its reference. If you look at Aptay Dictionary or some other place, it can give you a reference from a standard work like Raghuvamsha or Bhagavad Gita or Ramayanam or Bhagavatam. Then what happens is that there are plenty of commentaries on those texts. So from there you can get an idea of how the word is derived. So even if you don't find the word in dictionary or I mean the full explanation that you want, if you can get a good reference for it, you can look under that reference and that'll give you some also from further insight. Okay, so pavanani is qualifying karmani. Okay, so that's what we were doing last time, and then we were trying to derive this form, which is the upeyavan. So which is coming in this shloka. So the simple sentence is that tataha param means anantaram raghavaha vamanashrama padam upeyavan. So that's a simple sentence. Means Sri Rama went to close or approached the site of Vamanasya ashramasya padam upeyavan. So he came to the site of the ashrama of Sri Vamana. That's the simple sentence. How did this word upeyavan come? That's what we were talking about last time. Actually, the form upeyavan is given by Panini as a ready-made form, what is called nipatanam. Nipatanam means nipatyate. But yes, this is also something you have to be careful about, because this form nipatanam is a process by which without giving all the rules, a ready-made form is given. So sadhitam rupam diyate prakriyam vina. So without giving all the steps, this ready-made form is given to you. This is not to be confused with the word nipataha. Nipata is a subset of avyayas, like a word like cha, va, these are all nipatas. So they are also in a way ready-made forms, but they are technical forms. They are given in these in 1.4 of Ashtadhyayi, Panini defines what are nipata. So these two are a little bit confusing terms. So they are called nipatas. And when you say rupam nipatyate atva nipatanam, then that means that Panini has given a form in the Ashtadhyayi without giving the steps. Ready-made form is given. Let me just give you the Prag Rishvara Nipataha comes in 1.4. So you can mark this section just because otherwise you might be confused that are these avyayas, and these are not avyayas. This Nipatamam is a process by which you skip the steps and get to the final form. Okay, but let me just point out a section to you where we have this Nipataha. There's a section called Prag Rishvaran Nipataha, Ashtadhyayi. In 1456, Prag Rishvaran Nipataha. Prag Rishvaran, this is a typo thing. This is one of the few typos in this one. Prag Rishvaran Nipataha, it should be, Nipataha. That goes up from 1456 to 1497. That defines what is a Nipataha. And then in 1.1, Panini says Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam. So all these Nipatas, they become Avyayas. So if you look at the next sutra, here says Chadayo Satve. The words Cha, etc., when they don't refer to a physical thing, they become Nipatas. So the word Cha is a Nipataha. So this is one thing of Nipatahas, which is defined as what English we can call like particles. The particles are defined. The other thing which you're talking about is Nipatanam as a process. So these are two different things. Now, the Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam comes in 1.1, where Panini makes all these Nipatas Avyayas. Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam, that's 137. But the one we want right now is the form Upeyivan. Upeyivan. And now if you remember, we talked about this pratyaya called Kwasu. Kwasu, just like we have the past participles, we also have these perfect participles, which are lit adeshas. In place of lit comes this pratyaya called Kwasu. And this Kwasu is not really to be used in what's called Bhashayam, in the regular language. It's mainly a Vedic pratyaya which is used. But Panini only, I think, gives about 9 forms of, I think 8 of Kwasu and 1 of Kanach which can be used. But, you know, sometimes poets use this form. But this particular one is okay because Panini has given this one. Now, as I mentioned to you, I think a few times, is that in the third Adhyaya, Ashtadhyayi, Panini has this adhikar of Bhute. From 3 to 84 starts Bhute. Up to 3 to 123 starts Vartamane Lat. And from 333 is Bhavishyati Adhikara starts. So in the Bhute Adhikara, there is this sutram called Kwasuscha. Kwasuscha. So that will come as 3 to 107, Kwasuscha. So in place of lit, Kwasu will come. Now this is this is not the Paroksha lit. This is the Samanya Bhutakali lit. So this doesn't have to be Paroksha, because for the Paroksha lit comes a little bit later. So but now, even the Kwasu is given to Panini, any dhatu can take Kwasu, but the next sutram Panini says Bhashayam Sada Vasa Shruvaha. So only these 3 dhatus should, Kwasu forms should be used in Bhashayam, the regular language. And the next sutram Panini says Upeyivan is the first one, Anashwan, Anuchanascha. So these 3 also can be used. Now why did he give them? Because these are now a little bit, these are what is called, you know, Trini Rupani Nipatyante. These are special forms that are given without giving the derivation of these. So this Sada Vasa Shruvaha, you can go the regular steps and find the forms. These 3, some extra tweaking is required, so that's why he gives regular ready-made forms. And also in 6.1, so far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 forms we have for Kwasu Panini has given and 1 for Kanach. And in 6.1 he gives 3 more forms. 6.1, 3 more forms are given. So this is totally we got 8 for Kwasu and 1 for Kanach. But some more also you might be seen being used. So we have to be ready for that. So this 6.1.12, Panini gives Dashwan, Safwan, Midvanscha. So 6.1.12. So maybe I'll put this in the document maybe. So we have 3 to those 6 forms in total. So we have 3 to 108, 109, and 6.1.12. So 3 to 108, 109, and 6.1.12 are the forms which can be used in which can be used in Bhashayam. 112, 32, yeah, 108, 109, and 3112. So 32, 108, 32, 109, and also 6112. This gives us the perfect participles which can be used in the regular language, in non-Vedic, I'll just say Bhashayam. Okay, so the one that we want is from 3 to 109, and the form Upeyavan is given. But then what we can do is, if you look at the Vyakhyanam, Kashika will tell you, why did Panini give the Nipatanam? Whenever Panini gives the Nipatanam, the Bhashyam and the Vyakhyata will give you the Vrittikaraha. Siddhanta Kaumudi will tell you why Nipatanam isn't given. What rule would we have needed extra that Panini did not want to give, because it will not be useful anywhere else probably. So for the sake of economy, he didn't give that one. So let's look at the 32109 and let's go to that for 1 second. See these forms, I don't think there's form of this in Gita. So Gita does not have this Kwasu Pratyaha. The only form that appears in the Kwasu in Bhagavad Gita, let me talk about that for a second, is in the Bhagavad Gita. Even though there's no Kwasu form, there's one form with the Vasu, and that comes in the word Vidwan. It's a very, very common word, Vidwan. I think all of you know the word Vidwan. That also is a Pratyaya Vasu, will become Vidvas Prajapadikam. So that is not a lit Adesha, because the Dhatu Vid has a special rule by which the present participle Shatru can become Vasu. But the declension is the same now. Once you get the form Vidvas, whether the form was Upeyivas or Vidvas, doesn't matter. From the Suprakriya will be, the Subandha Prakriya will be the same after that. It's become Vidvan, Vidvan, So, Vidvan, Saha, Vidvan, Sam, Vidvan, So, Vidushaha, then Vidusha, Vidvad, Vidvadbhyam, Vidvadbhihi, and so on. So even though the form Vidvan is not a lit Adesha, it is not a perfect participle, the word Vidvan actually is a present participle. You have to be very careful because it's a present participle. So you can say Shastram Vidvan. You might, I think whoever chants the Shiva Mahimna Stotram, I think it comes in the very first shloka itself it comes. And you can be confused because you say, how did Vidvan take an object? If we say Panditaha, Panditaha cannot take an object. Then you can say Shastre Panditaha, maybe Shastrasya Panditaha. You cannot say Shastram Panditaha, but you can say Shastram Vidwan. So that is because this is just like a present, like, you can say Ramaha Sitam Pashyan Gacchati. So Pashyan can take an object. So this is same as that. So this Dhatu Vid, a single Dhatu Vid, can take this Pratyaya Vasu in place of Shatru Pratyaya optionally in the present participle form. Let me give that sutram for you also. It does not concern us right now, but the word Vidvan is so common. All of you know it, and that's the only form in Gita, the best of my knowledge, that you have this Vas Pratyaya, Vas, even though it's not Kwasu, it is Vasu, but that's the form that you will find in the Gita. Let me give you the number for that. I think that's in 7.1. Because remember all these Pratyaya Adeshas, they come in 7.1. And then at that point Panini will say for Dhatu Vid is 7136. Videhe Shatur Vasuhu. So please mark this one, 7136. It's a special formation which tells you that following the Dhatu Vid, the Shatru can become Vasu, 7136. So that is the one, and that's the only one that will form the Vas ending in the Gita, 7136. Yeah, so Videhe Shatur Vasu. So this is the one that you will see in the Gita. But it'll give this, once you get the form, then you can decline it the same way. Alright, so if you know the declination of Vidvas, then you don't declination Upeyivas also, same thing. So so in this shloka, what do we have? We have the Upeyavan is same like Vidvan declension, same declension. This part is the same once you get the form. Okay, let's see how Upeyavan came. So let's go to 72109, see what Kashika has to say, and see why we required the, not 72, I'm sorry, the 32, and see why Panini has given this nipatanam. Okay, because dhatu is in gatau. The upasarga is upa plus in gatau plus we start with lit, and lit will take the kwasu adesha. But we know when we add lit pratyaya, I think you already know by this time that liti dhatur anabhyasasya is you have to do the abhyasa karyam when lit pratyaya follows. So you're going to get in as the ee. Of course, in dhatu in by the halantyam, the nakara is an it in dhatu in. So let's go to 32109 and see what we can find over here. Okay, so 32109 says upeyivan nashvan anuchanascha. Okay, so here let's see what Kashika says. It says upa purvad inaha. So upa purvad inaha. So we have the dhatu. He's telling you what dhatu is being used. He's telling you what the upasarga is. Upa purvad. So following the upasarga upa inaha, and following the dhatu in kwasuhu. Kwasu has been used. Then he says dvirvachanam. Dvirvachanam. See, as I tell you that your progress in this language, you can measure by how many sutras do you know reasonably well. Even if you know ikoyanachi, akasame dirghaha, adgunaha, sasajushoraho, that's good. You're slowly building up. So always measure your pragratihi nyayate. You can know your progress in this language by how many Pani sutras or Vartikams also you know well. And those you should make your own, and they'll make like your home base and expand from there. Even if you know only one sutram, ikoyanachi, you should be able to say with 100% confidence that this is not ikoyanachi or this is ikoyanachi. Or you can say ikoyanachi has not applied here, something else might have happened. That much you can say, and then you're ready to get the next sutram. And you make it 2, 3. Of course, some of them you might forget, it's okay. But at least the ones that you get, try to make them your own. And, you can progress from there. So the more sutras you can get. And in addition to that, whatever statements that you can understand from the Kashika or Siddhanta Kaumudi is a very good thing. Even if they're simple statements, understand. It's only one book, I mean, Kashika Siddhanta Kaumudi is only one book. I mean, how difficult can it be? It cannot be, because we studied physics, chemistry, we had 10, 15 textbooks. Now we have only one book, one Kashika, one Siddhanta Kaumudi. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you can understand even a small statement from Siddhanta Kaumudi or Kashika, understand it, maybe underline it, and now for the rest of your life you got that statement. Okay? So this one is saying that this much we can understand. We're trying to understand this statement right now. Okay. And this one right now I'm going to go through with you. Okay, this one up to here. So let's go step by step. Upapurvad inaha. So from now you can, when you're in the Kashika, if you underline this the rest of your life, this part of Kashika is done for you. And so on and so forth you take. And same thing with the Siddhanta Kaumudi or Kashika is that about 50% is quite straightforward. You can understand quite easily. Of course, some of them are complicated statements. It's okay, leave them for the time being. We'll come back to them. Says upapurvad inaha kwasuhu. So upapurvad, so the upasarga, and following dhatu in, you get the kwasu pratyaya. Then he says dvirvachanam. See, he won't give sutra numbers in. He says just say dvirvachanam. But we can understand that. We know the sutram already, which is the niti dhatu ranabhyasasya. Niti dhatu ranabhyasasya. Simple sutram, or it says that if the lit pratyaya follows, you'll do abhyasaha. Duplication. That's all it says. So that's in 6.1. Then he says abhyasa dirghatvam. So this is second step. You know what? Let's put this in the document. Let's follow Kashika. What he's telling us. First he said that take the upasarga, and then you take the dhatu in. So let's start from that, upa plus in. And he says then you made in place of lit, you put the kwasuscha kwasu. And then do the abhyasa karyam. So we have e, and then we have kwasu means you get lashak vatadite, the ka is an it, and the ending u is an it by upadesha ajana nasika it. So we got vas. Okay. So that's what we have so far, what Kashika is telling us. Then what does he say next? Next he's telling us is that, and I also mentioned to you that since this is a Vyakarana Grantha, this bhasha which is used over here, is also, Vyakarana Sammita Bhasha. I mean, it is accepted. This is very pure language. There will be no Arshaprayoga here. There will be no twisting, no bending, because this is a Vyakarana commentary. So whatever they use here will be like the very pure basic language. The more you read of this, the better it is for you. Just one advantage of reading Vyakarana Granthas is that you get the proper, kind of theoretical, correct, absolutely correct usages. Because if you read Gita, Raghavamsha, you have to always make some adjustments. Ramayanam, some adjustments are required all the time, because they will, because they are not teaching Vyakaranam. Their objective is different. But if you're reading this, you have to understand this is how we should be speaking. How they, these people like, Tattvabodhini or Nagesha Bhattaha or Bhatturi Dikshitaha, how these people write. That's how we should write and we should speak. Of course, also Malinatha also, of course, you can same thing. So whatever whatever is by Kalidasa, this could have a lot of something like complications. But this part here is how we should learn. This is how we should speak from here to here. This is what is a pramanam for us. This is this language is Shishta. So Shishta Vachanam Pramanam. How Shishta speak, then we should speak. So not only will you will learn Vyakaranam, but you can also learn the usages, get the feel for the language. He says Abhyasa Dirghatvam. Now what is this now? Abhyasa Dirghatvam. So what this is that there is a special rule in 7.4, as I mentioned to you, is even if you didn't know what that statement in Kashika is saying, if you knew the Adhikaraha, as we have seen many times in the class already, is at the end of 7.4 is, Abhyasa Karyani Upadishyante. Their instructions for Abhyasa are given here from the Sutram Atra Lopo Abhyasasya. Atra Lopo Abhyasasya. From the Abhyasasya goes to end of 7.4. So there might be a Sutram here which says from the rules that we know so far, the regular rules that we use, which is Rasvaha, Haladisheshaha, Kuhoshchuhu, Urat. There is no Sutram that is telling us right now to do the Abhyasa Dirghatvam. There is no Sutram that we use to say in fact we make Rasva in Abhyasa. Is what we normally use is Sutram Rasvaha. So if it is Dirgha Ach, we make it Rasva Ach in Abhyasa. But what Kashika is saying is that Abhyasa Dirghatvam. So Abhyasa Dirghatvam. So that we don't, that we have to go beyond the regular rules. There must be some special rule maybe for the Dhatu in, for Lit Lakar it might be special. So here is it one down here, is Dirgha Inaha Kiti. Dirgha Inaha Kiti. So 7469 says Dirgha Inaha Kiti. Our Pratyaya right now is what? Kwasuscha. So Kwasu clearly has a K as an it. So it is Kiti is very easy. So if you have Kit Pratyaya following, the Dhatu in is there. Then the Abhyasaka, the and Liti. Anuvritti Lit also is coming. So Liti, Lit Pratyaya, which is Kit. And for Dhatu, it's a specific Sutram now, is only for the Dhatu in Gata, only for single Dhatu. Pratyaya following should be Kit, should also be a Lit Pratyaya. If all that is satisfied, then do the Dirgha in Abhyasa. So 7469 is the one that we're going to use now to follow the train of Kashika. And so then use, let us take this down and use 7469 and get the form. I'm sorry, let me copy this and then get the form. This becomes long E in Abhyasa Dirghatvam. Okay, so make it long E, and this is 7469 we have used, 7469 Abhyasa Dirghatvam. Okay, then what is the next step which Kashika says? Next step he says is that Tat Samarthyad Ekadesha Pratibandhaha. Dirgha Tat Samarthyad Dirgha Vachana Samarthyad. Because Panini says do the Dirgha and Abhyasaha. Clearly we cannot now use Akasamani Dirgha. Anyatha Dirghatvam Vyatham Syat. If you start using Akasamani Dirgha at this point, then there is no use of making the Abhyasa Dirgha. So clearly we cannot use Akasamani Dirgha between these two. Because otherwise there was no point making the E into Dirgha E. So that's what Kashika is saying, is that Tat Samarthyat means Dirghatva Samarthyat Ekadesha Pratibandha. What is Ekadesha? When we do akasavani dirgha, what we do, pura parayoho ekadesha we do. So he said ekadesha pratibandha. So we don't do ekadesha anymore. Because of that, tat samarthyat. The next step says tatra vasvekajad ghasam iti anekashtvat inna prapnot. Now what he's saying is 7-67. See, in the Idagamaha section, there are some very special rules, only 2-3 rules for this vasu pratyaya. Because first of all, the vasu is a valadi pratyaya. It is ardhadhatuka pratyaya. Because ting is ardhatukam, ardhatukam sheshaha. So lit, in place of lit, vasu came directly. Vasu came. Ting, and the ting pratyaya never came in place of lit. See, if ting takes a pratyaya, which if lit took a ting pratyaya, ting came and then vasu came, maybe we'd have had the problem of being saradhakam. But even that would not be, because we have sutam called litcha. So litcha, even if ting comes in place of lit, it becomes pratyaya, which is ardhadhatuka. Let me back up for 1 second. So you know sutam ting shit sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha. So because if normally what happens when we say lat lakaraha in place of lat, lat itself is a pratyaya, is ardhadhatuka pratyaya, because it's not ting or shit pratyaya. But when you say lasya and bring the pratyaya tip in form bhavati, for example, that because of ting shit sarvadhakam, the tip pratyaya becomes sarvadhaka pratyaya. But in the case of lit, the sutram says litcha in end of 3.4, that even the ting adeshas which come in place of lit, they do not become sarvadhaka pratyayas. They remain, they are only ardhaka pratyayas only, because sutra litcha. So any lit adesha would have been a pratyaya which is ardhadhatuka pratyaya. So sutam litcha. So right at end of 3.4, after the ardhadhatukam sheshaha, below that comes sutam litcha. So lit adeshas are always ardhadhatuka pratyayas. Ardhadhatuka pratyayas. So litcha. Okay. So the pratyaya vasu is valadi. It is a pratyaya which is ardhadhatuka pratyaya. So then you know the sutram 7-35, which says ardhadhatukasya id valadehe. Ardhadhatukasya id valadehe. So that is the general rule. Then you have to check whether the dhatu is set or not, and then find out whether you can do idagama or not. But in the case of vasu, there are 2 or 3 special rules which override everything else. There are 2 or 3 special rules which override everything else. And the main rule which Kashika is pointing out to is 7-67. 7-67 is the rule which tells us that it says vasu ekaj ad ghasam. So what it says is that if you have the angam which is ekaj, so after doing the abhyasa karyam, after doing all the sandhi rows, if you have an ekaj angam or ending in ad, long a ending, or the dhatu ghas, only for these 3 situations will the vasu take idagama. And of course there's a couple of sutras below that, vibhasha for gama, hana, vida, visham. So which also doesn't apply to us. So this is the main rule, that if for the vasu to take an idagamaha, it has to have an ekajangam after abhyasa karyam. After abhyasa karyam. Now how can that be? We'll take a form gam. What happens is that in the gam, it becomes jagam, like jagmivas. So in jagmivas, what happens is that between the ga and the ma, that akara drops by a special rule. So even after doing abhyasa karyam, we have jagma. So it's an ekachangam, becomes jagmivas. So there are some situations even after doing abhyasa. So because although you might think that okay, abhyasa has to have an ach, and the dhatu has to have an ach has to be there. So how can it ever be ekach? It can be, because some situations might come where one of those ach might drop, and then you have an ekajangam. But in our situation, we do not have that. What we do have is that 7-67 is a special rule. So when you have this pratyaya vasu, so the vritti says is that Kruta dirvachananam ekacham dhatunam. So after doing the dirvachanam, if the dhatu is still ekach, then, or akarantanam, which you don't have, and then dhatu ghaseshcha. So then what is Kashika telling us? Kashika is telling us that tatra vasu ekajad ghasam, is a typo, it should be ghasam, iti anekashtvat inna prapnoti. What we have right now is this, our angam is E, the 2 ach in here. So we could not do idagamaha by 7 to 67. So no id was possible by the by 7 to 67. Okay. Now what Kashika says, the next step is that it says sa nipatyate. That idagama is being nipatyate by Panini. So he doesn't want to compose a new rule just for this form upayavan to say you do idagamaha, when this form upayavan. So directly he gives the form, because he in one single sutram Panini clubs these forms together. So he does not want to waste one more sutram for each of these forms. So so this is what Panini will do. He'll club these nipatas in one single sutram. He'll club 3, 4, 5, 6 of these nipatas. So that way he doesn't have to compose more rules, because they're no use. Will not be used anywhere else. See, upayavan, these are ready-made forms. He's given 3 ready-made forms in one sutram. Upayavan, anashvan, anucha, anashcha. So these 3 forms he has given. Upayavan, anashvan, anucha, anashcha. These also have some special circumstances. So what Kashika is saying is that saha means what? Saha idagamaha nipatyate. So that idagama is to be done here by nipatanam. So that gives us the next step now. So when let's take this down here. So by nipatanam we get the just make sure copy this file. We come ivas now. Ivas. So even though this is not applicable by 7 to 67, we have to get the form ivas, and this is the nipatanam. That is one of the reasons why Panini has given this as a. So we'll complete this form. So this is by nipatanam. Nipatanam. So every time you have a nipatanam, you can go through the steps like this. You can go through and see why did Panini give nipatanam. It will help you firm up your knowledge. Because why will other rules not work? Why is nipata required over here? It's a very nice process that you can go through. So what rules would have been applicable otherwise, which will not work in our case? Okay. Now we got ivas. We got 3 steps now. Okay. What's the next step that he gives? Abhyasasya shravanam. Means abhyasa bhaga stays as it is. So abhyasasya shravanam. Shravanam means that it's finally heard. Means it doesn't go anywhere. It stays as it is. So dirghasya ikarasya shravanam bhavati. So this ikaraha will stay as it is. Okay. We already mentioned to you why we cannot do akasami dirgha, because the dirgha vidhana samarthyat. Dirgha vidhana samarthyat akasya dirgha iti ekadesha na kriyate. It is not done, because it will make no use to do dirgha and then do akasami dirgha. It will not make any sense. And then he says dhatu rupasya yarna adesha. Okay, this is also interesting now. It says dhatu rupasya yarna adesha. Now you know that we have learned this sutram iko yanachi. I think all of you know iko yanachi. Okay, but first of all, why do we not do the akasami dirgha between this e and this e? Between this e and this e, why do we not do akasami dirgha? That's also the question comes in, because sutram is 6477 says ashishta dhatu bhruvam yor yanguvango. Very, very important sutram. Please mark it today. Very, very important sutram. What that sutram says, there's an apavadaha. It's an apavadaha for the other rules like ikuvanachi and akasami dirgha in the case of dhatus. Achishnu dhatu bhruvam for the pratyaya, for the gana vikaranam shnu, for any dhatu and a single word bhru. Okay, let's go to Bhagavad Gita for 1 second. Chapter 6 of Gita. Let's go there for 1 second. Sparshan kutva bahirbhavayansh chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho comes in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter number pranapano samo krutva nasabhyantara charino. Not chapter 6. Yatendriyamano buddhir mudir moksha parayanaha gate chabhya krodasya sada mukta eva saha bhoktaram yinastapasam sarvalok maheshwaram sridham sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichati. So this form comes in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody, which chapter is that? Sparshan kritva bahirbhayans chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho pranapano samo kritva nasabhyantara charino yatendriyamano buddhir manirmoksha parayanaha yugadechha bhayakrodas. Chapter 6, No, I don't think it's chapter 6. Ravindra says chapter 6. We got chapter 5 towards the end, maybe. Sparshan Krutva Bahirbhaya. It's chapter 5, Ravindra. Nice guess, but it's very close to that. I said chapter. I was wrong. Not chapter 6. Chapter 5 here. Sparshan Krutva Bahirbhaya. Okay, no problem. Thanks for trying. Always try. It's okay. Sparshan Krutva Bahirbhaya. Chakshuschaivantare Bhruvoho. Look at this form Bhruvoho. This Pratipadikam Bhru is a Pratipadikam. Bhru means brow, same in English, right? So Bhru and brow, same as in English. Then this is either the Saptami or Shashti Dvivachanam. Pratyaya is os. So Bhru plus os. You could have had Iko and Achi over here. We don't want Iko and Achi. You want the U of Bhru to become Uva. So Bhru becomes Bhruv. That U becomes Uv. Uva Adeshaha. And then becomes Bhruvoho. So this is the example in Bhagavad Gita of the word. So single Pratipadikam Bhru. There's also one thing in Ashtadhyayi. I mean, by now you should be used to Panini style. So in the single sutram, he will combine some very strange things in the same sutram, same sutram. Some of the sutrams are so funny because if you look at it, if you look at the language, it will be really strange. But Vyakaran, I mean, this is not a dosha, but this is not like kavyam or anything like that because this is, sutram. See, achi, shnu, dhatu, bhruvam. So single pratipadikam bhru, and then any dhatu, and the gana vikaranam shnu. What happens to them? Achi pare, when ach follows. Let's not lose focus. What we have is we have e plus ivas right now. We're dealing with this right now. So we do have the dhatu in gatau. It is here. It's followed by an ach. And what does 6477 say? Is do yor in place of the e or the u respectively yathasankyam, do the adesha iyang or uvang. Iyang or uvang. So this uva comes as an adesha. Also remove this nu as an it. See what happens is that if you have the anekach adesha, what happens? Anekal shit sarvasya. Anekal shit sarvasya. Let's refresh your memory for a second. Is the iyang uvang. So why did Pani say iyang uvang? What is that nu at the end doing over there? Of course, it's an it by halantyam. The adesha is iyang and uvang. So in our case, the adesha would be uvang. I mean iyang. I'm sorry. Why is the nu as an it? Because if you recall, we have the alontyasya. Normally, when any adesha comes, it takes the place of the last letter. But anekal shit sarvasya. With anekal adesha, it will then take up the whole dhatu will be gone. The whole dhatu will be gone. We don't want that. We want to replace only that e or the u. But the adesha is iyang or uvang, e or uva. That's anekal. To replace the whole dhatu would have been gone. So in order to come back to replacing only the last letter, Pani says nitya. So this is sutram here, nitya, which is alontyasya. So any adesha will, as a general rule, take the place of the last letter, last al. Al means any letter, al. Now, nitya. So even if it's anekal adesha, if it has na as an it, ka, ga, ga, na, it will take the place of the last letter only. So anekal api adesha, nit adesha, antasya alahasthane bhavati, that last one, okay, the nitya. So that's why Pani says iyang or uvang. So now we have the adesha iyang, iya. So akasami dirgha is stopped by this rule. We get the adesha iya. But we don't want that. What does Kashika say? Kashika is saying that dhatu rupasya, ikarasya, yan adesha. Now how would you get that from? Yan adesha. Because below this sutram, there's a special rule which says that inoyan. Inoyan. This is a very special dhatu in. This dhatu in gatau is a very common dhatu. It's kind of, well, I shouldn't say it's a headache, but it has a lot of special rules, because these very common dhatus tend to be used the most, and they get to have a lot of special rules. So already we saw 2-3 of them right now, and there are more also. But this dhatu has special rules. So inoyan is telling us that when the look at the vritti for that, it says ino angasya yannadesha bhavati achiparataha. So this ino yan is now being used by Kashika to give the yannadesha. So that will now give 6481. We can use that, and let me see. Actually, I went to the top of the document. Okay, so let's take this one and then use the 6481 and do the Yarnadesha. I think we're pretty much done at this point, because we got the, and so this will become Yarnadesha by the this becomes ya, and we have the ivas over here, and this is 6481, which is what we have used. So now what do we have? Between the upa, so this is all now antarangam. This has to be finished first. Once all of this is done, you can do the ad gunaha between upa and e becomes upe yivas, upe yivas, upe yivas. So I just wanted to go off, and we took some time today, but I wanted to get you in the habit of trying to go through as many of these. It is you know, get that. Okay, so that is what the statement that he has given. Actually, he go on first stating, he's giving says kradi niyamat. There was a kradi niyamah praptascha vasu ekaj ad kasam iti pratishiddha sapunar it pratisuyate. So that because this it would not have been idagama would not have been praptaha, but that is what Paniniya says. Do the idagama yado nabhavati. So upesha. Okay. And that, but if we have anyway, let's stop that. So you can look at some more details over here also if you want to look at. So now we went through this process of how the form upeyivan came. But if you want to keep it simple, by 32109, Panini has given us a direct form of by 32109. So that is what you can. If you don't want to go through all these steps, it's interesting to go through all these steps. You learn to run the Panini engine. This program. Try to run as we can take it for a test drive, so to speak. See how much you can go with that, which is good. So we got the upe. How about the declension? Anybody want to help me with the declension? Anybody want to help me over here? So what we're looking for the form upe yuan. So upe yuas, we got the upe yuas. Okay. Anybody can give me some steps here? So let me see. I put the form upe. I think upe yuas. Okay. I think Anuj, you can give me some. So, upe yuas and upe yuas. Then we add the pratyaya su. Of course, su means you can do the upadeshadana nasika it, and then halni abhyo dirgha suti syapuktam hal. If you have halanta pradipadikam, and then the sakara of su drops away. So 6168, that's the very first simple step. I think you should probably try to understand this sutram. It says that if you have the halanta pradipadikam, or if you have a silinga pradipadikam ending in long e or not long e with the pratyaya ni or ap, in that case the sakara of su drops away. So hal ni abhyo dirghat, long exhale dirgha, su ti si apruktam hal, and lopa is coming down from the so lopa is coming down. So we have halanta pradipadikam. So the apruktam hal, apruktam means aprukta ekal pratyaya. Means with a pratyaya which is ekal, single letter is called aprukta. That drops. So 6168, the sa is going to drop. So we're going to so then we get equals only this one will stay 6168. Okay, now who can give me some more rules? What do we need? We need to somehow get the na in there. In a num agamaha, we want to do dirgha. These two steps we need. Num agamaha and dirgha. So who can give me these steps now? Okay, Usha has at least one step for us. She may have both for us also. Yes, Usha ji. Usha ji.
Yeah, Ugitacham Satyji.
Yes, Ugitacham Sarvanama Sthane Dhatoho. And then can you give us Dirgha also for us? That's a Numagama, Usha ji is saying. So Numagama is going to come by, so let's take this one. By Ugitacham Sarvanama Sthane Dhatoho. If the Pratyaya has the U as an it, Uk as an it, Ugit. Now remember the pratyaya was kwasu. That kwasu has u as in it. Now you understand why Panini puts all these it letters. You can specifically trigger some operations. So ugidacham, that u as an it in kwasu pratyaya. Now we'll bring it in num agamaha. Sarvanama sthane. What is sarvanama sthanam? See, we don't get, these are very confusing terms. Sarvanama sthanam, sarvanama shabdaha. Sarvanama shabda are pronouns. Is the like you have like tat, yat, and all these are pronouns. But Sarvanama sthanam means it's talking about these pratyayas, the suadi pratyayas, which is either the neuter plural she Sarvanama sthanam, then sudapumsakasya, sudanapumsakasya, sud anapumsakasya. So if it's not neuter, which is what we have right now, we have masculine right now, sut. So sud anapumsakasya. Sudanapumsakasya say that the first sut means what? Su, au, just, out. Right now we have su. Let's look at the sutra. These are very fundamental concepts, but since we are in the first year of this class, I want to give you these as much details as possible. So one sutra is Sarvadini Sarvanamani. That is not what we have right now. Sarvadini Sarvanamani, I think it's 1127 it is. It's Panini defined which are the pronouns. Those are not pratyas. Those are pratipadikams. Sarvadini Sarvanamani. So those are called pronouns. And that comes in 1131, I think 27. Okay, because these two sound almost the same, No, I'm sorry, it's not. Okay, one more correct. 1127. Sarvadini Sarvanamani. That's not what we want right now, because these are pratipadikam, which is Sarvanama Sanya. What we want is the Shi Sarvanama Sthanam, Sudanapumsakasya. So that tells us that these pratyas become the Sarvanama Sthana Sanya, Shi Sarvanama Sthanam. And that one will be Shi Sarvanama Sthanam, and that one I'll give you the number for that. Shi Sarvanama Sthanam is 1142, so it will be below here. So 1142 says she. What is the she? This is the neuter plural. Shi Sarvanama Sthanam. Sudanapumsakasya. Sudanapumsakasya. Sud anapumsakasya. Sud means su, au, just, out. Why do we need that all this right now? Because unless we can say the Sarvanama Sthana Pratyaya is there, we cannot use what Ushaji is saying. So 7170 says Ugidacham Sarvanama Sthane Dhatoho. So as long as the Pratyaya which is Sarvanama Sthana is following, and back here we have Uk as an it. This Vasu had U as an it, but Kwasu, that U was an it. Uk means what? Ayin Rulruk, right? So U R R. So U is included in that, of course, because in Uk. So this everything is satisfied. We get a Num Agamaha. Num Agamaha is, I think you know by now that we'll go after the last. So sutra that we're using is 7170, okay, which Ushaji is telling us is 7170. Ugit is a very important sutram also. I don't say very important all the time, okay, so you'll be saying Satish is very important for every sutram. No, it's not like that. Because if you give this sutram a ranking, a rating, it'll be maybe like a 4-star sutram. Rating scale 1 to 5 in terms of usage. This sutram will probably like at least a number 3 rating, maybe 4 rating also. That's one of my things. I want to do the Ashtadhyay rating scale, rating scale. The number of hits you get of Ashtadhyay that you can tell, because if you want to look only at the 5-star sutras, for example, Sasajishwara will be like a 5-star sutram. Akasamadika will be like a 5-star sutram. How about the Inoyan, which is sorted? That will not be a 5-star. That will only be maybe like a 2-star sutram. Only for the dhatu in only it applies. How about Upeyavan? Maybe like only maybe 1 or 2-star sutram. It's not used only the single word, those 3 words only. So it's not something like Akasami Dirgha is a 5-star sutram. So similarly here, so you can always ask me how many stars the sutra has. You can decide whether to take it or leave it. Of course, some of them are so easy that even if they don't have a high-star rating, still want to understand them because it's so very easy. So anyway, 7170 will be used often. So in terms of our rating scale, it will be at least a 3-star sutram. And you can get Ugidacham. Anything with Uk is in it. And Dhatu Ach, Ugidacham, and this Ach actually the Nakara is gone. But anyway, don't worry about this one for right now. Ugidacham. The same thing, if you look at this Panini thing, again the same thing. Ugits are so many Ugits we have. And Dhatu Anchu is only one Dhatu. But they're clubbed in the same sutram. So this Ugit you see many. So only this part will have a high rating, the Ugit. This Dhatu Anchu is single Dhatu. It will have a low rating because it's only one single Dhatu. Only that one. So this is the one, the Ugit is the one that you need. Sarvanama Sthaniya Dhatu. So if Sarvanama Sthana Pratyaya is falling, and I know that this is not the Dhatu's Ugit, then in that case you get the Num Agamaha. And Num Agama means what? Halantyam Upadesha Arjuna Nasika It, only Nakara Vashishyate. And because of Midachontyat Paraha. Midachontyat Paraha, it goes after the last Ach where it is going to. So by 1-1, I think it is 47. Midachontyat Paraha. So that this is the one. 1-1, no, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, 1-1, I'm sorry. 1-1-47. That tells you where to put the Agamaha. Because see, when you have Pratyaya, it says Pratyaya Parascha. So when you have Pratyaya, it goes after the Prakriti. But Agama, I don't know where it goes. Beginning, end, middle, we don't know. There is 2 sutras which we have seen many times. Adyanta Takitau, Midachontyat Paraha. So it ters in it goes to the beginning, id agama goes to the beginning. So when you have a curse in like patya tuk agama, it will go to the end, adyantau takitau. And mer in it will put in the after the last vowel. Mid achaha antyat paraha. Antyat achaha paraha. After the last ach of the prakriti where it's going to. These two sutras will 1146, 114, again very simple sutra, nothing complicated. All 1146 says that if the agama has ters in it, it goes to the beginning of the prakriti. If the agama has kers in it, goes to the end. If it's mers in it, 1147 says it goes after the last vowel of the term. So we have mers in it, we did the num agama. So what we're going to have now is we're going to get this one na in between here. U pe yi one sa. Okay, one sa. So we got okay yi one sa. Okay, so now that's what we have. So we use 7170 because the kwasu pratyaha had u as an it, and also the su was a sarvanama sthanam, kasuna pumsakasya, and also as I mentioned to you many times, please repeat sutra as many times as you can. That's the way they stick in your mind. So 1147. Okay, now how about the last step? Usha, you'll give the next step also?
Yeah. Yes. Atpasantasya cha dhatoho.
No, that atu asantasya. We don't have that. Atu asantasya. We don't have asantam right now. That's only for atu and asantasya. So we don't have atu. We don't have us either. In the same section, a little bit earlier. So you're very close. I think Anuji should know this. This is he. Yes.
6.4.10.
What's the sutram say?
Shanta Mahata Sanyogasya.
Very good. So this Anuji has a copyright on this adhikara, by the way. So anytime you use sutram from this adhikara, you have to pay Anuji a tariff to you. So use this. Anyway, just a joke because you always remember this sutram. So anyway, 6.1, I think 10 it is, which says that Shanta Mahata Sanyogasya. So if you have a nakara sakara sanyoga at the end. So this is 6.4, 6.4.10. How do I know 6.4? Because anuvritti comes from 6.3.1.1.1. The dralope purush dirgha anaha from 6.3.1.1.1 anuvritti of dirgha. It has a dirgha anuvritti. It goes up to 6.4.18. So the upada dirgha comes in the 6.4. Santam hatas sanyogasya. Because the nakara has to be upada to be sakaranta. So na is a combination. And also for the adivadika mahat. So sanyoga when you have, of course the mahat has no sanyoga, but the santa sanyoga when you have, with the nakara is upadha, then the upadha of that nakara will take dirgha. So 6.4.10, I think finally we are getting there. So we get the form u, pe, yi, wan. So, okay. So that's what we have. So 6.4.10, and then finally we have now finally finished the karyam in sapada saptadhyayi. Sapada saptadhyayi karyam samaptam. Now we can go in Tripadi, and there we have sutram which says sanyogantasya lopaha. Sanyogantasya lo. I think it's 8.2.23. I think so. That ending sakara will drop by sanyogantasya lopaha, which is in this language, as a general rule, we cannot have a padam ending in sanyoga. So you cannot have sanyoga at the end. Of course, there are some exceptions, but as a general rule, sanyogantasya lopaha. And because of that, lopa is asiddham in the eyes of no lopa pradipadikantasya. Okay, so sanyogantasya lopa we apply first. 8.2.23, the ending sakara will drop because suptingantam padam is pada sanya. Sakara will drop by 6.2.23, and now what happens is that this 8.2.23. Now 8.2.7 was saying that nalopa pradipadikantasya. If you have a nakara which is padanta and also belongs to pratipadikam, like in the word atman becomes, prathama become atma, right? In the word atman, we had atma as prathama ekavacham because that nakara has dropped by 8.2.7. But remember, in Tripadi, you cannot look back. Purvatra siddham. So when 8.2.23 drops that sakara by sanyogantasya lopaha, that is not seen by 8.2.7. So 827 cannot act after that. 827 still see the sakara being there. Because 827 requires the nakara to be the padanta nakara. But since it has not seen sakara lopaha, it still thinks the sakara is still there. So therefore 827 is bypassed, so to speak. So 827 does not apply after 8223 because it does not see the operation done by 8223. And so let's finish this up. So by the ending sa, drops by sanyogantasya lopaha. Ending sa drops by 8223, and after that, 827 cannot apply because of purvatara siddham. Purvatara siddham. So we upe yuan. Okay. It took a long time today. It's interesting form. We went through all the steps in detail. If you have some time later on, please follow these steps. You'll learn a lot of rules. Vasu's hand is up. I either missed something or may have a typo. Yes, Vasu.
You see, I have a question. You have to bear with me and explain
Sure.
if you have the time.
Since your name is Vasu and we're talking about Kosu Pratyaya, you definitely have a...
Is that, because I'm not very familiar with this, are we deriving a Tadida Shabda?
No, we are not.
We are not.
No, because this is Krudantam.
It's a Krudantam because it is derived out of the Dhatu.
No, before we go any further, Vasu, the Adhika of Tadhitaha comes from where to where? From, maybe let's lesson for you for today. Tadhitaha goes from 4176 to the end of the 5th chapter. From 417 to 76 to the end of the 5th chapter. Tadhitaha is Adhikara of Panini, Tadhitaha. One of the biggest Adhikara is one of the bigger ones. Not the biggest, is the bigger one. So now, see, this is Tadhitaha, 4176. As you see, we did not use any sutram today from the Adhikara. So nothing was used from the Tadhita Adhikara. And first of all, for Tadhita, what you need to form a Pratipadikam first, and then add some Pratyaya to the Pratipadikam.
Oh yeah,
We only took the Dhatu in Gatau, we took the lit, in place of lit, Kosu came as an Adeshaha only, and then we formed the Prati Upe Yuvas, and then we declined it. That's all we did.
So by definition, if you start with the...
So we start with the Dhatu E, we added lit Pratyaha, and then we went through all the steps and we made a participle form out of it, not Tingdantam form because the Kosu came in. And so just like any other participle, like Gachat or Gataha, is also Krut Pratyas, right? Gatihi. So all these. So this is in 3rd Adhyaya, so because of the Kruta thing, it became a Prajipadikam by Krut Tadita Samasascha. So this was only a Krudanta form that we derived, nothing to do with Taditas.
Okay, I'm sorry that, I'm not...
No, it's okay. It's okay, that's fine. It's good to ask any question because Tadita means you have to use some Sutram 4176 to end of 5.4. That is Taditas. And this we only took a Dhatu and added only a Krut Pratyaya, that's all we did. And then we declined it though. We declined it after that, yeah. So.
And this is ultimately the end result is you have a noun.
We have a, actually technically we have an adjective.
An adjective, sorry. Yeah.
Adjective, no, it's okay. Adjective we have a masculine nominative singular, a Subanta form, which is an adjective to Ramaha.
Yeah.
So Ramaha,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Obviously, the poet is using this word, and what would be, if you have to do the Vyakyan, what would be an alternate Samskrita word?
So we say simply Gatavan.
Gatavan, okay.
As simple as that, Because remember, this is not Paroksha lit. So this is just, you can use, because Dhatu in, the Itavan, also you could use Itavan, but Itavan is a much less common word. Gatavan is much more common. In fact, let's see what Malinatha is saying. Let's see what he says in terms of Gatavan. Upe Yuan Nipati. Upagataha. Here it is, Vasu. Upagataha is what he's saying. So Upe Yuan, he keeps the Upa as it is. And the E Yuan he makes Gataha. Upagataha, he says. So that is the equivalence of that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to know any of these rules and you just want to keep your life simple, as a first pass, you just take what Malinatha is saying. Upe Yuan equals Upagataha. your job is done. So that this is as a first pass, you should replace these words in the shloka by the word given by the tikakara. So remove upeyuan and put upagataha, and your life is very simple.
And upagataha is again an adjective sense.
To Ramaha. Actually, upagataha son. Upagataha son means he had approached. So so then he gives a sutram also. So that's what he has given. Okay, so now let's follow shloka. That was a difficult form in the shloka, and the fact that Muninatha is giving a sutram for you means you probably know you'll do some digging on this one, because he will not give the sutram unless you need it, because he's all the simple rules Muninatha is not going to give you, because you should know them by now, otherwise they become too long.
Satish,
So
I have a question.
Yes, Wayne.
Yeah, the Adyanta Prakita means
Yeah.
Agama goes in the beginning.
If it has stirs in it.
Right? Adagama and Idagama. Adagama, I know
Idagama.
it goes before the dhatu.
Yes.
Whereas
But idagama comes to the pratyaya, but the agama comes to the pratyaya, not to the dhatu. Because the idagama comes by 7-2-35. Ardha dhatu ka shed wala de hai. The pratyaya takes the idagama, not the dhatu. So it goes to the beginning of where it's going to. So the agama is taken by the pratyaya. It goes to beginning of pratyaya, it goes, not to the dhatu.
So when it says the following is going to take the agama, that particular sutra would say the dhatu takes the agama or the pratyaya takes the agama?
First you have to find out who's taking the agama.
Right. Oh, okay.
So which term is taking the agama? This is the first step.
So adagama obviously is taken by the dhatu, and
By
idagama
the
is taken.
it's in the angasya adhikara, adagama. So the adagama, that the entire thing is the angam. It goes to beginning of.
So the anga is the term you're
So
talking
this here is saying ardhatukasya, and only adha means the pratyaya only can be ardhatuka. Words can it be?
about. Okay, got it. Okay.
So that's what it's saying, and then to the beginning of that thing it goes. Is what it's saying.
Right, okay. All right. Good.
So I think so. Okay, this is also angasya adhikara, but the angam here is the ardhatuka pratyaya here, not the dhatu. So okay. Now see the other one we're talking about, which Wayne was talking about, is 6.4.71. In fact, if you want to check Wayne, what you can do is that you can always look at the vritti. What does the vritti say of the 6.4.71? It says lung rung iti eteshu parataha. When these follow, angasya ad agama bhavati.
Oh,
So when you so that angam for the lung or rung, which will be the dhatu plus that will take the agama, and of course the beginning of that. That's how it all works out. So okay. So that's yes. The idagama comes to pratyaya. So that's why it goes beginning of the pratyaya.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That's the difference. Okay, so let's try to follow up. This was a difficult part in this shloka. So we went through this whole process. Upeyuan, anashwan, anucha, anascheti nipataha. Rest of it is kind of easy, so let's follow this one now. Prathama janma cheshtitani is very prathama janma. There's no vigraha vakyam given over here. Okay, no vigraha vakyam. The prathama janma is clearly purva janma. It's a karmadharya compound. Means prior birth, first birth means previous birth. Then it will probably be prathama janmanaha cheshtitani. Prathama janma sambandhani cheshtitani. So sambandhini you can say. So sambandhini cheshtitani. So those activities connected with the prior birth. So prathama janma sambandhini cheshtitani. Only thing he gives a parya shabda. What she says is that Rama Vamanayor aikyat smriti yogyani api. Again, I cannot emphasize to you anymore. So please read these tikas, appreciate them, do the padacheda for yourself, and whatever you can get, try to pick it up. This is a very pure language, which is, and these are great scholars. They use this word with great care. Nothing is wrong in them for the most part. So try to understand what he's trying to say, and then they're trying to make it as easy as possible for us. It's as easy as possible. In fact, Tikakara's job should be such, it cannot be made any easier for you. Of course, we need some basic language, but still try to understand. See, Rama Vamana Yoho Aikyat Smriti Yogyani Api. So Rama Vamana Yoho, I mean, hopefully after a year or two of this class, you can learn with confidence to go to the Tika and try to decipher the Tika on your own, hopefully. So Rama Vamana Yor Aikyat, on account of the oneness of Rama and Vamana Yor. Because Ubayoho Vishnu Rupatvat, because they are both avatars of Vishnu, so there should be the same Aikyat. Smriti Yogyani Api. So those Cheshchitani, Smriti Yogyani, they were fit to be remembered actually. Api. Now where is the Api? Api is coming in here. Now he has duplicated the Api, looks like. Mulinatha says, because Shloka has what? Asmaran Napi. Asmaran Napi. And the Api he has taken here also. Pratama Janma Cheshtani. And he says Api kind of here also. Asmaran Napi. So because he's put Api here also. So that is probably he's taking the Api. This one is taking also connecting here also. But before we go ahead, how about anybody in the class? Sandhi rule, Asmaran Api. Anybody give me the sutram for that? Asmaran Api. Smaryate Vanava Bhavadhi. Do you have Smriti of the sutram or not? Asmaran Api. You can take this one. Smriti Yogyam Idam Sutram. It is Smriti Yogyam Sutram. It's fit to be remembered. Ushaji, as anybody else, Vasu should know that. Vasu you should know from Saturday class. You know what Vasu? Vasuji?
Yeah. Echo
No. Can I put you on the spot or no?
Can you can help me?
Okay, Asmaran Api. So we need a how did the na become double over there? What we have is Asmaran Api. See, in the Saturday class you've done the Sandhi rules. Yeah, Ushaji, I know you know the answer. Ushaji has the answer, but I'm giving Vasu a chance. Thank you, Ushaji. I didn't mean to ignore you, but give Vasu a chance because this is only from the only Sandhi Prakaranam only, Asmaran plus Api. I'm looking to make it Asmaran Api. My favorite place you will find in Bhagavad Gita. This applies at least in two places in the same shloka. It is come. You look at this. This is one of my favorite long tongue twisters in Gita. Is Pashyan Srinvan Srishan Jigran Nashnan Gachan Sapan Shwasan Pralapan Decijan Gunhan Mishan Nimishan Napi. Okay, let's try to go there for a second. I think it's number, same fifth adhyay only it comes. Questions. These are all present participles. And there they all end up being declined. Okay. Pashyan, Shunvan, Spushan, Jigran, Jigran Nashnan. Look at this one. Jigran Nashnan. Double Nakara. Jigran Nashnan. Okay. Then Ashnan, Gachan, Sapan, Shvasan. Pralapan, Nisyan, Gunhan, Nunmishan, Nimishan, double here. Gunhan, Nunmishan, double Nakara. Unmishan, Nimishan, Nimishan Napi. Okay, third place. Nimishan Napi. So Nimishan plus Api become Nimishan Napi. Then Gunhan Nunmishan, double Nakara. And back here, Jigran Nashnan, double Nakara. So three places in the same sutram. Actually, Gita is number 5.8, 5.9. Okay, Vasu, any recollection? Smaryate va bhavata?
No, unfortunately.
No smaryate bhavata. Okay. Let me try. Anybody else? Besides Ushaji, anybody else? This is only Sandhi rule, simple rule. So it's in Tripadi. Okay, I'll give you. It's an Agama. It's an Agama also. We can practice the Adyantau Takitau. Anybody? Examples in Gita. As I mentioned, this Sandhi Karyam is like, Prathama Shiksha. The first thing that we need to do is 5.8, 5.9. Okay, let me give it to Ushaji, then she has the answers. Let me give it to Ushaji. Nyamo Raswadi. Go ahead, Ushaji. Ushaji, you there? I think your mic is not working. I've unmuted you, but I think your mic is not working. You can type your answer if you want, because I'm not able to see your mic. Okay, I think Ushaji has the answer, but her mic is not working. But the sutram is that Nyamo Raswadachi Nyamun Nityam. Nyamaha, so Nyam. So word in the Mahasya Sutrani, what do you have? Nya, ma, na, na, nam. So last three. Now you know why Panini does not put the nasals in the Varga order. He does not say ka, ka, ga, nga first. He says nya, ma. See, he says the cha Varga nasal first, then the pa Varga, then nya, ma, nga, na, nam. Then the ka Varga, and then the ta Varga, then the ta Varga in the Mahasya Sutrani, you know I'm talking about. So you get, so why is that? One of the reasons for that is that because Panini wants to use this rule, is this, I think it's 8.3, Nyamo Rasvadachi Nyamun Nityam. Here it is, 8.3.32. So Nyamaha, Rasvadachi, Rasvad. So if you have a Nyam, which is either the Kavarga Panchama or the, so because Nyama, Nga, Na, Nam. So Tavarga Panchama or Tavarga Panchama. What do we have right now? We have the Nakara, Tavarga Panchama Varnaha. And Rasvad, it should follow a short vowel. Do we have that? Always check all the conditions. Always check all the conditions. We have that because you have Asmaran. So the Akara is there. Followed by any Ach, Asmaran Napi. Then what is it? It says Nyamut Agamaha. So Nyamut Agamaha. So Nyamaha Achi Parataha. Now interesting thing is Sutram is that, as Venu was asking, who takes the Agamaha? Of course you can work backwards now. You can work backwards and you can say this agama is coming to this one, because if or you can look at the vritti also, that we can also look at the vritti and see who is taking the agamaha, because in the vritti clearly the term will be in shashti vibhakti, so you can make your life easy by just looking at the vritti and taking, see what is being given there. So nyamo rasvachi nyamo nityam, that is number 32. It says rasvat paraha yo nyam. So rasvat paraha yo nyam. Tadantad padat, should be padant also, yes, padant also should be. Uttarasya achaha nyamut agama bhavati nityam. But now in the sutram, we have achi, we don't have achaha. So we have a panchami and a saptami. We do not have a shashti bhakti in the sutram. Shashti sthana yoga is in the shashti is the place of the operation normally. But we don't have that. We only have a nyamaha. Rasvat Nyamaha. Rasvat means following a short vowel. If you have a Nyam, following that, if you have an Ach, then do the Nyamut Agamaha, Nityam. But for what? Who is taking Nyamut Agama? Is it the Nyam or the Ach? Now there is a paribhasha for this. Is Ubhay Nirdeshe Panchami Nirdesho Baliyan. Is when you have a Panchami saying act to the right hand side. Saptami is saying act to the left-hand side. When both are being in the same situation, the Panchami Nirdesho Baliyan. The Panchami Nirdesha is more powerful. So that means this Nyamaha is the more powerful of the two. So that says that do the Agamaha to the Ach. So you have Nyama as a Panchami. Achi is Saptami. Achi is saying go to the left of me. Nyama says go to the right of me. Because Tasmati Uttarasya, right? Tasmati Purvasya. So, in fact, actually, as a matter of fact, we can even in terms of Ashtadhyaya rules, the Tasmaditya Uttarasya is a later rule in Ashtadhyaya. So that is the basis for this paribhasha, which says that when both are being said, then the Panchami Nirdesho Baliyan, because in the Tasmaditya Uttarasya, I mean, if you look at those sutras, let me look at the number, that's 1167. Look at 1.1. There are these two sutras which tells you that Panchami you have to act to the right hand side. Saptami act on the left-hand side. But when those two are in the same place, then the Panchami Nirdesho Baliyan. So 1167, if you look at that for 1 second, Tasminiti Nirdishte Purvasya. So Achi says act to my left. Tasmaditi Uttarasya. Tasmad is Panchami says go to the right of me. But because this is a later rule, this one is more powerful. Anyway, so after all of that, we have to use the 8332. Thank you, Ushaji. 8332 and bring the Nyamut Agamaha. Of course, Yatha Sankham. Because we have three things taking three possible Agamas. We have the Kavarga Nga, Na, Nam. And Agama also is Nga, Na, Nam. So it will be Yatha Sankham. So when it's a Nakara, it will take Na Agama over here. When it is the Kavarga Panchama, it will become, Pratyangatma. Sagunnapi. Sugunnapi. So anyway, so we'll put the, so please practice these Sandhi rules. Please, I would like you to complete the Gita as far as possible and applying all the Sandhi rules. We're trying to work on a document and hopefully we'll be able to publish that. That'll be one seva we can do for all these future classes, is take all the Gita shlokas and apply the rules correctly and leave it behind for the next. That's one of my, I guess, sankalpa, 332. It will require a lot of work. It will not be easy, but we can do it, I think. So, asmarannapi, it will become like that, okay? Okay, so just a Sandhi rule, we sidetracked a little bit over there, but he's taken the api in, I think, in two places. He says, Prathama janma cheshtitani api. See, they were his own activities, even though they were his own activities, and he was kind of excited. His interest was perked up, even though he didn't remember them, because he says Ramasya ajnanavatarattvena, so ajnanavatarattvena, because he had this avatar was ajnanavatara. He did not supposed to not know that he is devaha. So kevala manushyattvena. So he only had manushya rupam I should say. So because of that, samskara daurbalyad, his impressions, memory or impressions were weak. Samskara daurbalyad, asmarannapi. So because he had ajnanavatara, samskara daurbalyad, there was asmarannapi. So he was, even though he didn't recall them. Unmana is what? Utsukaha babhuva. Unmanaha. Okay, now how is unmanaha? Is what's the pratipadikam here? Is become ud plus manas. Now this is like the word vidhava. We've seen this is a bahuvri samasa. How the word vidhava comes? Vigataha dhavaha yasyaha sa. So udbhrant, you can say udbhrantam manas yasya saha. Okay, let's go to Bhagavad Gita. Dukkheshu nudignamanaha sukheshu vigatas spruhaha vitaraga bhaya krodastitadhir madruchyate. Chapter 2. Dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. So one whose mind is not perturbed even in sorrow. Sukheshu vigatas spruhaha. He has no longing for pleasures. Vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir madruchyate. Vitaraga bhaya krodha. Who is without, vitam is without. Vita raga bhaya krodha, who has no attachment, fear or anger. Chitadir mudruchyate. Very hard to do all these things, but that is my 2 cents on the Gita, by the way, is that how do you do all these things? So the Gita says, you do this, do that, Vita raga bhaya krodha. How do you do all these things? My answer to that is that by chanting the shlokas over and over and over and over and over and over again, it sinks in your mind. If you keep on chanting them, slowly it sinks in. Pratyaya jayate shanai shanai. The mind starts believing in these shlokas. Not only chanting like a parrot, it believes in them. And then you start acting like that. So by simply keep on repeating, it will slowly rub off on the mind, and it will have the, what samskara, as Mulnata says. So samskara will dridha bhavati. And then you can, otherwise say, what's the use of chanting these shlokas like that? Because how am I going to act like this? Because it's such a beautiful shloka is given. Because here, see, this is one is second chapter, 56. Dukkheshu anudvigna manaha. This is anudvigna manaha. Is, of course, this word udvigna is already in there. Anudvigna. We have only unmanaha we have, but the word vigna is given here in our case that we have to supply something. We supply something. I'll give you the vartikam for that. Anudvigna manaha sukeshu vigatas pruhaha vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir mudruchyate. Very beautiful shloka. Anyway, so anudvigna manaha. So what this is also a bahuvri compound. Anudvignam manasyasya saha. And this one we can use Ushaji gave us before. Because we have the unmanas pratipadikam. So this is not a Ramavash Shabdaha. Please be very careful. Be very careful. It looks like a Ramavash, doesn't look like, I should say, but you might be confused to think this is like Ramaha. It is not. Because this pratipadikam ending in us, you get the Upada Dirgha by the sutra which Ushaji has given us before. Atvasantasya chadhatoho. Atu asantasya chadhatoho. If you, when the pratyaya su form in the nominative singular form, when this you have asanta pratipadikam, even the feminine also, the apsaras pratipadikam apsaraha. Then the upada becomes dirgha. So let's look at a couple of sutras. First of all, how do we get the Bahuvri compound from? There's a Vartikam. There's one main sutra. But Bahuvri has only a few sutras. Mentioned to you many times. If you want to form any compound, you have to first find a sutra in 2.1 or 2.2. Yena samasa adhikriyate. So which will give you the authority to make the samasa. So 2.2.24 is the one which says anekamanya padarthe. But we have dropped the word bhranta, udbhranta. So how can we drop it like that? If you look at 2.20, if we look at that, under that there are few vartikams under that. There are 3-4 vartikams under that 2.24. and one of them, Katyayana, says that this dhatu form can be dropped after the pradis to form this Bahuvri compound. So these are very common compounds, you know. So let us look at it. So 2.2.24 anekamanya padarthe. Let's see. See, pradibhyaha dhatujasya uttarapadasya lopascha va bahuvir vaktavyaha. You can optionally drop that dhatujasya uttarapadasya lopaha. So ud bhranta manas. So dhatujasya means it's a form from a dhatu. Udbhranta, form is bhranta. Uttarapadasya maybe udbhranta. So the bhranta is the second form of the udbhranta samasa. Lopascha va. It can take optionally bahuvir vaktavyaha. Example he gives is that prapaditam paranam asya praparanaha vrikshaha. So one whose leaves have fallen away. Prapatita paranam. So praparanaha. So same thing unmanas we have unmanaha. So now and then when you want to do dirgha of unmanaha, you can use the okay, let me put this down here. We have of course ud became by sandhi rule by the yaronanasiko va. If you have a year letter for anunasika, it becomes which is padanta year, that becomes anunasika option. Pratyaya bhashayam nityam. So even though it says va in bhashayam, it's most times nityam. So ud became by sandhi, and so manas yaronanasikyo va. Manas, and then we add the pratyaya su, and you're going to then use the atvasantasya chadhato, the same section which we had before when looking at the form upeyivan. We did the dirgha of the upadha. Same thing here. We want the upada dirgha. Is Anuji's section. We have to go to and pay her a tariff to use her section. So we'll do that now. So this atvasantasya chadhato. So 6.4.14 atu as antasya. So ending in as. And this saupare only for the pratyaya su follows. Saupare. So upada dirgha bhavati. Upadhaya dirgha bhavati. So we get the 6.4.14. So use 6.4. I just kill us. Use 6.4.14 to elongate that for the upada dirgha. Atvasantasya chadhato. So okay, for okay, so that is what we got. Let's see, did we get everything now? What else do we have? Okay, we got the commentary. So simple sentence is that Raghavaha. There are two sentences here actually. The first sentence is that Raghavaha Vamanashrama Padam. By the way, no commentary. No commentary on the Vigraha Vakyam. Means it probably simple Vigraha Vakyam for us. So Vamanasya Ashramasya Padam Misthanam, the place, the site. So Sri Ramaha, he approached, or he went to when closed, Upa is closed, he approached the site of the ashrama of Sri Vamanaha. Tataparam, it goes before. Then Tataparam is then Sri Rama approached that site, which is Parama, which is Pavanam, which was very purifying. This is qualifying the Padamashra Padam. Then Shrutam Rishehe, which he had heard from the Rishi. We already saw last time, we saw the Sutram there. Shrutam Rishehe. That can be the first sentence. Second sentence is that Raghava again, same karta, is Unmanaha Babhuva. Oh, that's for Babhuva. No commentary by the way, Babhuva. Okay. This is a Litlakara form, Babhuva. Dhatu is Bhu. Here we have two special sutras We need two special rules. Again, the same thing. Dhatu bhu is a very common dhatu, so it's going to have some exceptions. Okay, you need two rules. First of all, in the abhyasa karma you do when you do bhu bhu plus lit. In lit you bring tip tasji. In case of tip you bring in null. We've seen that many times before because of the parasmay padanam. Null atus us, thal atus a, null vamaha. So in the lit lakara, in parasmay padam, the tip, tasji, etc. become null, atus, us, etc. Lit means paroksha lit. So only the third person you need in place of tip, tas, ji, yathasankham. Respectively, you get null, atus, us. This is clearly a singular form. Karta is Sri Ramaha. So if you, I'm going to skip some steps now to save some time. So do the abhyasa karyam. So we have, because liti dharanabhyasasya. Liti dhaturanabhyasasya. So liti dhaturanabhyasasya. So we take, let's take bhu plus we have another bhu, and then we have the null pratyaha. Null means when you do anubandha lope, because of halantyam and chutu, you're going to get the only a over here. So what do we need now? When you do the abhyasa karyam, we know two rules we already know. Rasva abhyase charcha. So by the rules that we know normally, should have had abhyasa as bhu. It loses the pran, abhyasa charcha comes in tripadi, and in rasva. These two rules we already know. But when you apply those, you would have heard, so maybe applying the normal rules, applying usual rules, we would have had bhu. We would have had bhu as the abhyasa. Bhu as the abhyasa. But that is not what we have. What we do have is babhuva. Babhuva. So again, the same style, same technique is that under the Abhyasa Sutram, there must be something in end of 7.4, which is going to tell us that for this dhatu bhu, something special is required. So just go to the section, which we've been to the section many times. It's from 7.457. Atsalopo Abhyasasya. From there. So these first few rules we have. And then there's a special sutram will be here. It says bhavate raha. Liti. Only in lit abhyasa, in bhavate raha. For the dhatu bhu, you do the akara adesha alontyasya. So that u of bhu becomes an akara adesha. So you were 7473 by 7473. If you know this section, if you know it is not that hard to find. Because somewhere in this, because this is only for lit. So now the specific rules. Because normally I ask you to remember only these rules. Rasvaha, haladi shesha, kuhosh, chuhu, urat, abhyase, charchin, tripadi. But now when there's some exception, just come and look over here. You find something down here. Because you know which section to come to. So bhavate raha, 7473. So by 7473, we get so that's the first rule, every exception, and the next one is that babhuva, between the u and the null and the akara. What would have been sandhi rules now? We would have had iko and achi as the first step, but then Roma Sutram, which we saw today, 6477, which is achishnu dhatu brvam yor yang vangau, will become uva. Because we would have had ba, bhu, va. We had short u, because if that long would take uvanga adesha, become uva. We have had ba, bhu, va. What do we actually have? We have babhuva. We have babhuva. So the uvang will not help us, because when the uvang comes, becomes short u, uva. The adesha is short u, rasa ukara. So we had babhuva, not babhuva. So for that, again, a special rule. It says bhuvo vuk lugmito. So that this takes a vuk agama. The vuk is an agama. Here's an example, by the way, of an agama coming to an end, coming to the end of something. So this bhuvo vuk, and that is 6488. This is second special rule, is 6488. Tells us that to do the vuk agama. So dhatu bhu. And when you have the lung or lit pratyaya following, lung or lit, so lungi liti chapare, use the vuk agama. So 6488 says bhuvaha, there's a shashti. Here why he has used the ashin dhatu bhuva, because the bhuvaha is a shashti ekavachanam of bhu. So in place of for the bhu, so bhuvaha, Panini has used 6477 in the sutram itself. The ung adesh has been done. So bhuvaha vuk agama bhavati. So lungi, this is a typo. I think it's a typo. There's a dangerous typo in this one. Lung litoho. This text is pretty good, but has some typos. So lung litoho. Lung litoho. So actually no, it's not a typo. I'm sorry, take it back. It's the font, I guess. So lung lito. I guess the e goes all the way till le. Okay, it's not a typo. I take it back. Lung litoho is correct. It's just the font, the way it looks. Lung litoho. So when lung or lit follows, says bhuvaha vuk agamo bhavati lungi liti cha ajadu prataha. So ajadi pratyay anuvritti is coming that. So bhuva. Okay. So by all of that, also this should be ajadi pratyay also. So by this bhuva vuk lung litoho, what number is that? 6488. So then by 6488 we get the final form, which becomes the ba. Then we get bhuv. Bhuv, and then and this we have used 6488. Now Malinath is now not going to give us this one. The dhatu bhuv we can look up in the dhatu vritti or bhaimi valya vyakhya dvitiya khande, second volume. We can look it up. So no commentary on that because we're supposed to do it on our own. So Sri Ramaha became kind of excited, a little bit excited, even though he did not remember the activities of his prior birth. Okay, who wants to do the anuvada? Anuvada anvayaha, I guess let's say. Okay, I think Wayne can do it. Wayne, you want to go for this one?
Sure.
Okay. Thereafter.
Tataha.
Tataha param.
Tataha param.
Tataha param. Thereafter. Thank you, Vasu. Vasu has hand raised.
He can do
Tataha
it.
param.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. We'll give him the next one.
Okay.
Tataha param.
Coming to
And then
Holy
coming. How about coming?
Upeyivan.
Upeyivan. To the
the
holy grove of Vamana.
Vamanashrama.
What's the word for holy? No, holy. What's the word for holy?
Holy Grove Ashrama.
No, it's Pavanam is holy.
Oh.
I think Pavanam is holy. Means
Okay.
purifying is holy.
Okay.
I think
So
grove
ashrama
is
is
taking
just
as Ashrama Padam. This Padam I know is like, it doesn't have any like translation. That's site.
Yeah, right. It's like
The
a
site of the ashram means the ashram only.
site or path. Okay.
So the grove we think is Ashrama Padam.
Ashram.
Of Vamana is Vamana.
Vamanasya. Vamanaha.
Okay.
Vamanasya.
Of which the sage had told him.
Rishehe Shrutam.
You say Shrutam. So really technically speaking, which he had heard from the sage. So
Right. He constantly
Yes, Rabin,
changes the
yeah.
tense, the voice.
yeah, so sometimes it becomes in English you have to do that.
Uh,
Rama's heart was filled with
it's the other way around again. Rama
Yeah, yes,
is
he was-
Raghavaha. Rama
was filled
just
with
a Raghava.
a strange yearning.
Oh.
Okay, let's take that part. Rama's heart was filled with a strange yearning. So what would we take on translation?
I would say Raghavaha.
Raghava unmanaha babhuva.
Unmanaha babhuva.
And this heart
Okay,
is the
yeah.
word manas in here. That's the manas.
Oh, okay, right.
So the strange yearning is udbhrantaha. Udbhrantaha.
Yeah.
Man,
right.
udbhrantam manas
So
yasyataha. So his heart was
So
filled with
he has
strange
the
yearning.
word
Rama's heart.
heart. He has the word heart, but also filled with. Would you just move it up a little bit?
Is filled with strange yearning.
Yeah.
So that is the
Unmanaha.
udbhranta. Udbhranta is there is a strange and udbhranta is strange yearning. And then the
Oh,
manas is taken as the heart.
And a heart. Okay. What's this?
And then the last part he has taken here is that
It must be Prathama Janma.
even though
Api.
is api,
Api.
he did not recollect.
Recall.
Asmaran api.
You're right.
Asmaran api is that asmaran even though is the api, did not recall asmaran, even though not recollecting really. Asmaran api, even though not recollecting. Sorry, keep skipping back and forth.
Yeah.
The incidents of his past birth,
Incidence is Cheshtitani.
Cheshtitani, and past birth is
That's for the Prathama Janma.
Prathama Janma Cheshtitani. Okay, good. Okay, so that's good. Thank you. So thank you, Vasu. Also, what's the question? I think. Let me. Yes, Vasu.
Just an observation. Malinatha has given earlier, Hridayam mana urasau iti vishwaha. Previously.
We missed that one? Oh, no, not in this shloka, another shloka, okay.
Another sloka he has given, so I thought I would make an observation there.
Yes, good, thank you. So those are used, that, what is the quotation again? Give it to me one more time.
Hridayam mana urasau iti vishwaha.
But that what is saying there, Vasu, really is that the word Hridayam can be in the sense of mana or the uras.
Yeah, or mana, vice versa, mana can be used.
Not to that. Yeah, I guess you can do vice versa. Yeah, that part is, that technically that quotation should be used when Hridaya can be used in sense of uras or manas.
It's in verse 20,
Okay, thank you. So let's thank you. Yeah, but I see the connection. Yeah, the connection is good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pushpaji has a comment. Pushpaji?
Satish, I have a question regarding Tataha Param.
Yes.
Is that a joint word, combined word, compound or something like that?
There are two avyayas.
Two avyayas. Okay, both of them are. Because I had declined Parama as neuter accusative singular to go with Shrutam, Pavanam, and so on and so forth.
Yes, in fact, it's interesting point Pushpaji is making is that can we put Param Pavanam is extremely purifying and go with Padam.
Right.
Param Pavanam. It's a possibility. But the thing is that Tata Param is like an idiomatic combination, So that's what I think we have to say. But it's a grammatical possibility. You can make Param Pavanam, which is very purifying, Could have been done. But I think Tata Param is very idiomatic, so we keep it as it is,
Yeah, that's why the Tikakara say Tataha Param Raghava.
Tata Param Raga. Yeah, in fact, that's it. Here Malinatha confirms the point. Tata Param.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't say Param Pavanam. Tata Param he says. But I see your point. Grammatically, this could have probably gone with, you can say, Param Pavanam. Could also be have gone. Thank you. So that is one.
Okay.
But the placement also will help you there. Actually, yeah.
Satish ji,
Yeah.
another observation which may be relevant here. Pratama Janma instead of Purva Janma,
Yes.
to mean that Vamana is the first human avatar of Vishnu, maybe.
Oh, I see. Is it? Oh, yeah, I guess. He's not Prathama Avatara. Prathama, so I guess Manushya Rupa Avatara. Okay, good point. Good point. Yes, that's a good point. Okay, thank you. A lot of good observations. That's a good point. I think because it's not Prathama Avatara, Prathama Manushya Rupa Avatara. Okay, let's try. We have kind of limited time, but let's try to do some homework and do it. Asasada Muniratmanastataha Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dramam Darshanon Mukhamrgam Tapovanam. One more time. Asasada Muniratmanastataha Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dramam Darshanon Mukhamrgam Tapovanam. Simple sentence is Punihi Tapovanam Asasada. So the dhatu A plus sad is to sit, asad like asanna, like you say asanna maranaha, asannam is to come close to approach. It also means to attack sometimes, but it means to approach. So asasada, it's a very simple format. Can we just finish it off right now? This dhatu, the lit lakara is being used, same pratyaya null is being used here. Dhatu is sad. You do sad. I hope you don't mind me going fast now because we've done this many times. So haladi shesha abhyasa karyam becomes sa sad and only atopadhaya. So atopadhaya is used to make the upadha akara dirgha 72116 asasada. The only thing that you need, because now it's an easy form for us because the same lit pratyaya lit parasmay padanam nalatus ityadi. So nal adeshaha, and then abhyasa karyam haladi shesha dakara drops. And if I'm going too far, let me know. But I think we did this a few times, so I hope now I have your permission to go a little bit faster now. So atopadhaya 72116, we can do the upadha becomes sad becomes sad. That's because why? Because the null has no as an it. That's why this is 72116. So maybe let's put this one quickly here, so we can use So of course the A is upasarga, so we can keep it a separate, becomes sa, sad. So there's 72116. I'll just put that as a special rule, 72116. 116. Okay, so I just we finish off quickly. But anyway, the main section is that Munihi Tapovanam Asasada. Tapase vanam. It is a grove meant for tapas. So he came to the Munihi, then came the Vishwamitra Munihi. He came to his ashram, which is his grove, which was good for tapas. And then the remaining thing is Tataha is just like before, Tataha Tadanantaram. Then after that, then Atmanaha is a Shashti. Atmanaha Tapovanam. He came to his Tapovanam. So where he used to stay, Tapovanam. Remaining items here, the Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam, the Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dhrumam, Dashanon Mukha Murgam, all Bahuvrihis. You have 3 Bahuvrihis compounds qualifying the Tapovanam. So the simple sentence was Tataha, then Munihi Prathama Ekavachanam, Atmanaha Shashti Ekavachanam, Tapovanam Asasada. So the Vishwamitra came, approached his own Tapovanam. Tata means then. And then we have 3 adjectives. So let's see what Malinath has to say. We can give you some homework. Is Tataha Munihi, no commentary. Now he's tackling the first Bahuvri compound. Shishya, of course, is one who's fit to be taught. Shishyasteham shadiman tam prapannam. Okay, what kind of usage Shishya? Very quickly. Krutya Pratyaha, what's called a potential participle. One is fit to be taught. Interesting usage in Gita is how Arjuna approaches his teacher and how Duryodhana approaches his teacher. Duryodhana accuses Drona. Says, Tava Shishyena Dhimata. You have taught all these people and they're fighting against me now. So it's really your fault, he says. If you hadn't taught them, they wouldn't have been fighting against me today. That's his approach, I guess. And Arjuna says, Shishyasteham shadiman tam prapannam. I'm completely surrendered to you. I'm fit to be taught, so please teach me. Anyway, so Shishya comes in the Bhagavad Gita, I think chapter 2, number 7. Chapter 2, number 7. Shishyasteham shadiman tam prapannam. So let's quickly go to this form, chapter 2, number 7. Just confirm that. So Shishya is Shishyasteham shadiman tam prapannam. Okay, chapter 2, number 7, Shishyasteham. Interesting, Shadimam, Dhatu Shas. Dhatu Shas in Shadi and Shishya also Dhatu Shas. So here, I am fit to be taught, so please instruct me, who have surrendered to you. Shadiman Tam Prapannam. In fact, and if you want to look at Duryodhana's thing, anyway, that's in chapter 1, okay, I won't spend too much time. But he says, Tava Shishyena Dhimata. This army of opposing warriors has been led by someone who's been taught by you. So anyway, so that comes in first chapter. So that is that. Now Shishya, what kind of word Shishya is? It's a potential participle, Krutya Pratyaha. Krutya Pratyaha is, if you look at Krutyaha, when Panini starts the Krutadhikara, the very first Pratyaya he takes is Krutya Pratyas. So in that he says Krutyaha Parang Nulaha, I think Sutram. That I think is 3195. Because Panini starts the Krutadhikara, Kudating. Kudating, Panini starts Krutadhikara. And the very first thing he takes is the Krutyaha, Parang Nulaha. Very nice section from 3195 to Parang Nulaha, up to Nul. Nul comes in 31133. So from 3195 to 31132 are all the potential participles. Now here dhatu we have is Shas. Shas is the dhatu. Now the Krutya Pratyas are the Tavya, Ani, the Kartavya, Karaniya, and then 3 kinds of Yas. Yakara with Yakara. We have the Ruha Lord Nyat, you have the Acho Yat, and then you have Pratya Kyap, a special. So here it is, I think this is a typo. I think it's 31109. There might be a typo here. I think dhatu is Shas, not dhatu Shas. Let me double check the sutram. Because we need the Pratya Kyap, we need the Pratya Kyap. So get the form shishya, we need the first cup. This is a typo now. This is a typo here. Eti, stu, shas, vru, dru, jishaha, kyap. So Panini gives these list of dhatus. We see the pratyaya kyap. So 31109. So maybe we can start with this one. So 31109. Panini says that is dhatu in gatau eti. Stutya. So shishya. These vru, dru, jushaha. They say the pratyaya. So 31109. So if you know something is a potential participle, your job is very easy. You can come to 3195 to 31132 and get the answer. You can also go to Shastriji volume 3 to get the explanation. You can also go to Madhya Dhatu Vritti. You can also go to the Krant Rupamala. So there are many places to go to find these answers. Many places to go to. So if you know Kritya Pratyaya, it looks like a potential participle, you can come here. You can go under Dhatu Shas with the, you can go to Apte's dictionary first, it will tell you Dhatu is Shas. Then once you know that, you can go to the Krant Rupamala, will give you all the steps very nicely in the footnotes. Or you can also go to Dhatu Vritti. So of course we can do it in the class also. So 31109, let's do this one. So Dhatu is Shas. That's why we have this class, you know. If you just want to look at the translation and get the answers, you don't have to, you know, you don't need the details. But the more details you know, it makes it easier to find the correct translation. You can also start understanding who is a good translator, who is not. So that is very useful, because otherwise if you just pick up a book in English, you do not know whether, you know, it is, you know, pramanam asti vanavana jnayate. You don't know. Shishta sammatam asti vanavana jnayate. But vyakaranam jnanam asti chet jnatum shakyate. So you can tell, this is you know, sadhu anuvadaha. This is dushta anuvadaha, you can also tell. Dushta anuvadaha. Because sometimes they change anuvada to fit their own agenda, you know. So then you will know, this is not vyakarana sammatam. So vyakarana anusari nasti. It is not following the vyakarana rules. Anyway, so that's how we do more vyakaranam. So you can get more and more, you know, equipped to do it yourself and to also appreciate others. So Shas plus Kyap, we got the sutram is 31109, and Gita example we gave was the 2.7. Okay, now what are the, can anybody give me any steps? And can anybody give me any steps? I want to get from Shas ya. Of course in Kyap what do you have? Halantyam, Lashak Patadite, Anubandha Lope, ya, yakara vidyakara. That's what remains. So ya shabda avashishyate. So this ya with the now who can give me some steps? Anybody please? I want to get from Shas ya to Shish ya. So anybody remember anything? Anybody special prize for today? See in 6.4 there is one of the most important Ashtadhyayi padas. Because it's a very long pada. It has the entire Bhasya Adhikaraha. It also has the Asiddhavadatra Bhat, and it has a lot of the Anga Karya, and we already saw some of them today. When we use Upeyivan, we used it. We used it to form the word Unmanaha, we used it there also. We used in the form Babhuva, we used it also. So this one is, yes, thank you. Ushaji has the answer, 6435. Very good. And that one is the special for the, so 6.4, very important pada Ashtadhyayi for the Anga Karyani. And that gives this, okay, Shasa id Anghaloho, I think Ushaji 6434. 6435 was for the form Shadi Mahantam Prapanyam. So Shahau. So that's the form for Shadi. So 6434 I think we need, not 35. But it was very close. Yes, Anuji?
No, I was just going to tell you that 6434. The chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. Now this is the, do we need any Vartikam or anything for that? Let's see. Halado, Shishtaha, Shishyaha. Okay. So what does this say? Is that Shasa Upadhayaha Ikara Desha Bhavati Angi Parata Haladaucha Kiniti. halado cha kiniti. So this one says there are a couple of vartikams here. Some of the quip pratyay. No, we don't. Do we need that? I don't think we need the vartikams. Okay. Now this so if we have the dhatu shas for pratyaya which is haladi, which has a ka or na as an it, so we do have that because ya is haladi. Again, when we talk about haladi, ajadi, ekach, anekach, all that, first remove the it letters. Then only you have to look. So the haladi, because the ya is the haladi and the ka is the it letter. So by the while I'm doing this, can somebody tell me the next step that we need? So that's going to make the shas into shis. Shas into shis because of the fact that we had a pratyaya which was haladi, which had ka or na as in it, in this case ka as in it. And now what I need somebody to tell me is that I want to make the sakara into the murdhanya shakara. Anybody? Okay, so let me put the number here while you're thinking about that one. So 6, 4, 34 this one is. And then what we have is that, remember the sutra which you use all the time, Adesha Pratyaya. Anuji has the answer, yes. Anuji, yes, go ahead.
Is that Shash Vasi Gasana?
Very good. So the one which you use all the time, 8359, will not work here.
8360, right?
Yeah, but why will 59 not work? Why can we not use 59? Because it's just only for the Adesha and Pratyaya Avayava.
All right.
Well, this is a Dhatu Sakara. Because 8359 which we use in all the time, like on Rameshu and all that, when we use 8359, that says if the in letter precedes or the kavargaha. But the Sakara, which we do have, we have the E preceding. So that we have an in preceding here. We have the E. Nimittam vidyate. Ikara nimittam is there. But the Sakara should be either a Pratyaya Avayavaha, not because this is Dhatu Sakara, or it should be an Adesha. There was no Adesha done over here. So the 8359 here, 8359 will not work. So 8359 will not work because of the fact that the Sakara is a Dhatu Sakara and it is not a Adesha Pratyaya Avayavaha. So therefore we use 8360. So 8360, Panini clearly says, and I'll give you my Gita Shloka also for that. I know time is running out, but Panini clearly says, Shasi Vasi Ghasinancha. So not only if it's an Adesha or Pratyaya, if it's a Sakara of these three dhatus, Shas, Vas and Ghas. Anybody in Gita? Special prize for today. This sutram in Gita. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, chapter 6. Ushitva Shashvati Samaha. Shuchinam Shrimatangehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. So having lived in the meritorious world for many, many years, Yoga Bhrashta is born is Suchinam Shrimatangehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. He's born in the family of the pure or those who are prosperous. Is because Arjuna asked the questions, right? Is this yoga bhrashta is ubhay bhrashta. He's neither has happiness in this life nor in the next. So kachin ubhay bhrashta. Arjuna asked the questions, and the Lord replies is that parthana yevehana mutra vinashastasya vidyate. Neither here nor there is he lost. And the next sloka, I think he says, prapya punya kritan lokan, having reached the words of the meritorious. Ushitva, this is the sutram. This sutram, Ushitva, dhatu vas, has taken sampasaranam, become Ushitva. Ushitva shashvati he samaha. Uchinam shrimatange he yoga bhrashto vijayate. So because the dhatu was vas, took sampasaranam, because vachi sapi yajadi nam kiti dhatu, vas is yajadi dhatu, I think. So become Ushitva. So anyway, so Ushitva shashvati he samaha. Well, homework for you is the dhatu was supposed to be anit dhatu. How about idagama here? This is anybody for next time. Remind me in the next class when we start up. Can someone scan the 7.2 from 7.235, so 7.236 to 7.275? Please find the sutram which will tell you to the idagama. Because when you look at the list of santesh chu dhatu, gas vasati dvau. This dhatu gas and vas are two anit dhatus. The idagama is here. Ushitva, itva, utva has happened. So why did the idagama come here? So please look at 7.2. Do some practice. From 7.235 to 7.275, you'll find some sutram. It tells you to do the idagama in this case. Okay, so find that. Anyway, so this is Gita example for this sutram is the 6.41 in Gita. Please chant Gita all the time. Please chant Gita all the time. Example in Gita is 6.41. Okay, I guess we're almost done with time. Let me go back to the shloka. Let me give you some homework for there. 6.41. Okay, so can we finish the compound now? So we got the word. Did we get everything? So that changes the sakara to shakara becomes shishya. And by the way, this ya is not a valadi pratyaya. This ya is not valadi. And no idagama can be taken because that one condition is not in that entire section of idagama. The valadi condition is okay. Thank you, Ushaji had the answer 8360. Thank you, Ushaji. He also had the 8360 answer. Anyway, the valadi condition is not violated. Okay, other things are this and that goes on, but valadi has to be valadi. So that is not yaka, not valadi because val is hal minus ya is val. Hal minus ya is val. Okay, let's go back, see if we can finish compound. So shishya varga, no commentary. No commentary. Shishya vargena, which what does that mean? Make it simple. Shishyanam vargena. So by the group, by his host of his group of varga, his class of students, by that class, parikalpita sajjita was made ready. Parikalpita was made ready. What? Arhana equals puja samagri yasmin tattathoktam. So it was of that kind. What was that kind? It was that in which it was the tapovanam. So yasmin tat, the yat tat construct means bahuvrihi. So it was that ashramadam in which the puja samagri arhana to arh is to honor. Puja Ravali Sudana Bhagavad Gita. Puja how Drona and Bhishma puja how they were worthy of puja. So arhana is is that by which you respect somebody. So arhana is a puja samagri. So that by which you make somebody worth of respect. By the way, this is also an interesting sutram. Is in the Striyam Tin. You have the word like sadhana, prarthana, yachana, vicharana, vijñapana. So now what is all this na coming over there? So what that is that when you make a nijanta form, a niyanta form, when you want to form a feminine noun out of that, stilinga nama shabdaha, then the pratyaya, this you comes in here. Yuranakau becomes ana. So if you want to form any feminine noun, there is a very small section of Ashtadhyayi, very small section from 3395 to 33102. From 3395 to 33102, a very small section of only 17-18 rules, where Panini tells you how to form a feminine noun from a verb. Of course, if you have to go to the Unadi Sutra, that's different. Unadis are different appendix. But in the Ashtadhyayi itself, from 3395 to 33102, I'm hoping that if I repeat this many times, you start to get some idea of Ashtadhyayi. Is the 94, I'm sorry, I was off by one. Striyamtin, 94 to 102, 112. We do it one more time. 3394, Striyamtin to 33112. And in that, this is ni ashranto yuch. So any niyanta. So arhayati. I think you can say that by which you make somebody, worthy. Means you worship him. So become arhi maybe then add yuch pratyaya. Yuch become yuranakav. 711 yuranakav becomes ana. And the niche will drop by nirniti. When you take arha, add the niche. Now how did I know to come this so fast? Because I saw the final form, arhana. I see the ana has come in a feminine form. Because what does Malinatha say? Parikalpita, arhana. So when I see this, I know it's like sadhana, yachana, vijñapana, it's like that, So I shouldn't say yachana, that's different, take it back. So like sadhana, vicharana, vijñapana, all these are like that. So so I know this is a feminine form. The U pratyaya has come, means I can probably make a very good guess that because the form Yashna is a different form. This is a different one. So this one probably has a niche in there. So I backed it out and I get the form Arhana because the sutram says that when the knee has been used, the yuch pratyaya is used in the feminine form. The 33107, may put this in document 33107. And then when you make arhi, add niche, add the ana, the ending e drops by niraniti. The niche always drops when the pratyaya following is pratyaya is ardhatuka pratyaya and aniti, because the yush pratyaya is ana, it's not valadi, cannot take any idagama. So it has to be anidada ardhatuke pare ne lopasyat. Very important sutram 6451. The niche pratyaya drops when you have a falling. When it is followed by pratyaya which is ardhatuka pratyaya, which doesn't have idagama, niraniti. So 33107. And finally, of course, nattam you can do by the your usual between the repa and the nakara only the ha and intervenes. At pratyaya only, at pratyahara by 842. At kupmanyum vavayapi nattam. I'll just put these steps in very briefly in the document because we're out of time right now. So arhana, let me see, what else should I put over here? First we did we added the niche, so let's mean the main sutram here is the 33107, and then we applied the yuvaranakav, the u becomes ana by 711. The niche drop by 6451 niraniti, and then finally you get the natvam by 842. Always keep that last. Go to Tripadi only after finish the Safa Saptadhyayi. So arha plus niche become arhi. Add u, arhi plus ana. Niche drop become arh plus ana, arhana. Finally you add the top, but they don't not to forget the top. Ajad, because where did you get the long a from? They only had ana. So ajad yatash top, let's not forget that. So to make it feminine form, no feminine form can be used until it passes to the inspection of the Striyam section of 413. Unless you pass to the inspection, you cannot use any feminine form in this language. So before anything, we have to go to the Striyam inspection. It's like driving a car, You cannot use this car, Striyam, until you go to this inspection line. And first to the Ajadiyata stop. If you have the Adanta, the short takes the top, Akasamani Dirgha, become Arhana. Alright, so let's finish that one and we'll stop now. Is Arhana equals Puja Samagri Yasmin Tat Tathoktam. It was that Tapovanam in which it was qualified in the Tapovanam, in which the class of the students had made ready the Puja Samagri, of course, for the Munirartham. So Muniyartham for the Muni. And then we got two more for next time. If you can do on your own. Try to look at the Vigraha Vakyam here. They're both Bahuvrihis. Is Baddhaha, Pallava Putaha, Eva Anjalayaha. So Dharma, I'll give you a basic meaning. Is that Ashramaha in which the trees had folded their hands in the form of the hollows of their leaves. This is a Kavi Kalpana. The trees are doing the folding their hands in a mark of respect, but their hands were their leaves itself, the hollows of the leaves. And the last one is the Darshana Unmukha Murgam, is the deer were Unmukha. They were intending to see the Muni. Means they were Unmukha means to be receptive to Unmukha, and Parangmukha. Unmukha means to turn your face towards. Means they were receptive to seeing for the Muni. So that you can do that next time. So let's stop here and we will continue next time. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Aviyata Nishachara Chamo Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittare Sada Bhautame Vo Ramamamuttara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranamatattulям Ramanama Varanane Shri Ramanama Varanana Unnameti. Any questions?
Stop recording, yes.
I think somebody else, who was there? Manoj was there with us? Somebody else was there. Somebody else was there. Who's that?
Let's see, who is there besides us two? There's one more.
Manoj, are you there? No.
Yes.
Who was the other besides you? Anyway, it doesn't matter. You got it.
Originally, Raja was there. There is.
So Raja was gone. He didn't come back. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, it's okay. You got it. So that's good.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. If there are no questions, then Hari Om and Shubharatri. Thanks, man. Shubharatri.
Thank you.